So, ladies and gentlemen, to begin the proceedings of the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day celebrations, I have the proud privilege to invite on stage Honorable Chief Guest Shri Atul Kumar Chaudhary ji, Secretary TRI. Let's put our hands together to welcome Sir. I invite our dignitaries, Dr. Pranita Upadhyay, Head ITU Area Office and Innovation Center, New Delhi. Warm welcome. I invite Shri Rahul Vats, Chief Regulatory Officer, Bharti Airtel. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Have the privilege of inviting on stage Srimati Aruna Sundarajan, Chairperson BIF. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Inviting Mr. Shivnath Tukral, Vice President BIF, Brigadier Anil Tandon, DG BIF, Ms. Meera Swaminathan, Director Policy Advocacy and Communications BIF, and also have the proud privilege of inviting Mr. Shashidharan, Managing Director, Bharat Exhibitions, to kindly grace the stage with his august presence. Namaskar and good evening. Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Atul Kumar Chaudhary ji, Secretary, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, esteemed dignitaries on the days, our special invitees, senior officials, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you today as we are gathered here to celebrate a landmark occasion, the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day, WTISD 2025 celebration event, and the release of BIF's working paper on responsible AI, hosted by Broadband India Forum in collaboration with Bharat Exhibitions. WTISD is a landmark observation instituted by the International Telecommunication Union, the ITU, to commemorate the founding on May 17, 1865. This year marks the 160th year of ITU's enduring legacy in connecting the world and championing inclusive, innovative, and equitable digital development. The theme for WTISD 2025 is Gender Equality in Digital Transformation, is both timely and deeply relevant. Today, even as technology continues to reshape economies and societies, the digital gender divide remains a pressing global challenge. With over 2.6 billion people still offline, a majority of whom are women and girls, this year's theme calls on us to ensure that every woman and girl has equal access to digital tools, platforms, and opportunities so that digital future is truly inclusive. WTISD 2025 brings together policymakers, industry leaders, technologists, researchers, and civil society to deliberate on actionable strategies that can mainstream gender perspectives into digital policies and frameworks. Through a series of thought-provoking panels, keynotes, and showcases, today's event we have highlight best practices challenges and the roadmap ahead for ensuring digital transformation challenges, of course, from 5G to 6G, which we have been discussing throughout the day. And now for the roadmap ahead for ensuring that digital transformation becomes a force for empowerment, especially for women and underrepresented communities. As we commence the day's proceedings, let us reaffirm our collective commitment to creating a future where digital access and opportunity are equal for all, regardless of gender. And ladies and gentlemen, we begin the proceedings by welcoming our dignitaries, requesting Brigadier Anil Tandon, DGBIF, to welcome Honorable Chief Guest Shri Atul Kumar Chaudhary ji with a floral bouquet. A very, very warm welcome to you, sir. Request you, sir, to welcome Dr. Pranita Upadhyay, Head ITU Asia Pacific and Innovation Center, New Delhi, with a floral bouquet. Warm welcome. We also invite Shri Rahul Vats, Chief Regulatory Officer, Bharti Airtel, with a floral bouquet. Thank you, Brigadier Tandon, for doing the honors. And now, to formally begin today's proceedings, may I invite Mr. Shivnath Tukral, Vice President of Broadband India Forum, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you and good evening to everyone, and good evening to our esteemed guests as well. On behalf of BIF, a very warm welcome, especially to our chief guest, Shri Atul Chaudhary, TRAI Secretary, Aruna Ma'am, the Chairperson for BIF, Pranita Upadhyay, ITU Area Office and Innovation Center, and my dear colleague Rahul Vats and Sir Shashidharanji. It's a very special evening, especially given the ITU theme that has been decided, and also to kind of see such a diverse and important set of stakeholders who have come together to participate in the World Telecom and Information Society Day. It represents not only the importance of the theme, which is advancing gender equality in digital transformation, but also the need for a multi-stakeholder and whole-of-society approach to advance and achieve the goal. A couple of sentences on the theme, not just as every Indian, everyone who's a part of India's digital revolution. The theme of gender equality in digital transformation is important for each and every citizen, not only as to what we owe to our society, but also what we owe to our families, our mothers, sisters, children, who see the power of gender inclusion, and when digital inclusion and gender inclusion can come together, what that can do. And even though advancements in technology have moved at a breakneck speed, we do recognize there are divides across the world which need to be addressed on an urgent basis. From a statistic point of view, about 2.6 billion people in the world still do not have access to the internet, and majority of them would be women and girls. So I think the task is pretty clear for the rest of the world as well. In India, while the story may be slightly better given the amazing work that our telcos have done, and India remains at the cutting edge of technology when it comes to, especially comes to democratizing it. UPI is a great example of one such thing. The whole concept of digital public infrastructure, and now with AI coming in, open source language models coming in, the fact that you can actually break that barrier is now going to be a reality. From a number perspective, India continues to be at the forefront, as we know, not only in terms of internet connections in India, about 1 billion internet users, and UPI transactions inching to about a 20 billion mark. So apart from the access to the ICT technologies that we have seen play out in India, the truth is we also need to focus on the gender divide in the digital world from an India perspective, and how do we do that? One such thing which we feel, and I think it's a theme for BIF this evening as well, and I believe Meera has worked on it, is how AI can do it. For example, to overcome the barriers of literacy and education, if you can speak to a phone and the whole world of internet comes to you through speech technology using large language models, that would be one way to cover that barrier. So clearly, the marriage of AI, the marriage of India's digital prowess can do that, and as a result of that, I think BIF will be launching a working paper on responsible AI this evening, put together by BIF Special Task Force on AI, which offers crucial recommendations for India's evolving AI governance framework. The paper's timely release coincides with the Government of India's launch of major AI initiatives, including the AI mission, and aligns perfectly with the WTISD theme of inclusive digital transformation. From a BIF perspective, a couple of words. BIF has always been at the forefront of working towards technology neutral, service neutral, and affordable universal connectivity, advocating for the use of all available technologies in a manner that is proportionate and calibrated to bridge the digital divide, particularly for the marginalized community. This working paper, which will be released, holds particular relevance in today's landscape and significantly enriches the WTISD celebration. The paper tackles the critical question of how to cultivate AI-driven innovation responsibly. As AI increasingly becomes a cornerstone of digital transformation, there's a global consensus that as development must prioritize inclusion along with issues like safety, fairness, and transparency. By unveiling it at the WTISD forum, we aim to highlight the intrinsic link between inclusion and responsibility while also prioritizing AI innovation. I once again welcome you all to BIF's special evening celebrations of the World Telecom and Information Society Day 2025. Thank you, and with this, let me hand back to the MC.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for those warm words of welcome and for setting the tone for the discussions ahead. And ladies and gentlemen, it is now my proud privilege to invite Srimati Aruna Sundararajan, Chairperson of BIF and former Secretary to the Government of India in the Ministry of Telecom, Steel and IT, who is a visionary leader and India's digital policy evolution. And I would now request you, ma'am, to kindly share your perspective on fostering equitable digital growth. Let's put our hands together to welcome Srimati Aruna Sundararajan.
Guest of honor of the day, my colleagues and guests on the dais, friends and invitees in the audience, friends from the media. At the outset, I'm delighted to be here on this very special occasion when we are commemorating the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. As you all know, the actual date is May 17th, but we are commemorating it a couple of days in advance. And today's evening's theme, Advancing Gender Equality in Digital Transformation. One might ask, whether this theme is not really a fairly old theme which we have been attempting to address for many years now. But actually, I think the choice of this theme is important in the sense that this aspect is acquiring an increasing salience. One, because we know that while India is one of the fastest growing digital ecosystems anywhere, and an influential one at that, we know that as far as the issues of access and inclusion are concerned, India does still face significant challenges. And the preceding speaker already referred to some of them. But we are also about to see that the issues of the gender divide may, in a sense, get exacerbated by the fact that, by the advent of AI. Because, as we know, one of the main issues of AI, we certainly know that AI is going to be pervasive. It is going to be an integral component of every aspect of, the digital ecosystem. And we know that AI already has some challenges in terms of the biases and so on that are going to play a very major role. And it is very possible, and we've already seen, or people have flagged instances where the algorithmic biases, etc., that are there are likely to pose significant risks and challenges for women. So we need to make a renewed effort to make sure that in addition to addressing the existing gender divides, we need to make sure that new kinds or new manifestations of gender divides also do not come up. Just as AI is becoming all-pervasive, the risks of cybersecurity are becoming all-pervasive. And here again, we know that women are especially disadvantaged and face certain additional risks as far as cybersecurity and issues relating overall to the safety, security, bodily integrity, and other such issues of women are concerned. So these are all newer emerging areas which need to be equally addressed when we look at the growth of the digital ecosystem. And I think this is a timely reminder that these issues are not just routine issues, but that these issues are acquiring an imminence and an urgency which need to be addressed on priority. I'm also happy to note that today BIF will be sharing some of the highlights of their working paper on AI, and I'm sure that many of you in the audience may perhaps have been associated with some of those deliberations, but I think this is a paper that people have been looking forward to. How in India will we ensure that there is responsible innovation in AI? Because this again is another key issue that requires to be addressed. I'm sure that you will hear more from the people on the dais about these issues. So suffice it to say that I think, you know, these are very, very important issues. These are absolutely topical and relevant issues. And I hope that today's deliberations, discussions will give us a lot of insights and will also provide pointers to the direction in which we need to go. So with these few words, let me again, on behalf of BIF and the World Telecommunication Day, welcome you all. And I hope that this event will be sort of a useful addition to the discussions and deliberations that we need to have around these very important topics. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, ma'am, for sharing all your valuable insights with the August House. And ladies and gentlemen, next we welcome for his address Mr. Rahul Watts, Chief Regulatory Officer at Bharti Airtel. With over 2 decades of policy and regulatory experience, Mr. Watts brings critical insights into how telecom operators are navigating digital transformation. So let's put our hands together to welcome our special guest, Mr. Rahul Watts.
Secretary TRAI, Mr. Chaudhary, Ma'am from ITU, Madam Sundarajan, and my colleagues and friends. It's an honor to speak before you today. It's a very important topic, one which we have been driving ourselves as an organization. And when we talk about the Telecom Day and the Information Society Day, it becomes very important that how we really drive this initiative to the next level. Gender diversity, and this is what I have experienced over the years, actually gives you very diverse and varied perspectives, which leads to more innovation, which leads to more problem solving. And there are actually studies which reflect that teams which are more diverse are generally likely to outperform the teams which are less diverse. So it is not a societal need at all. It's more about a strategic imperative which we have to drive as organizations to be able to really achieve it. So as we gather today and discuss this particular topic, we all are aware of the role that technology and connectivity is playing in empowering our societies and communities, and especially women. In India today, if I look at the numbers alone, a recent GSMA study told us that the total women having mobile internet adoption in India is already 37%, right? Now this is a huge number. This is actually a signal of barriers being broken down. It's a symbol of doors being opened up for millions of women to access education, healthcare, entrepreneurship, and new opportunities. And yet, despite connecting so many millions, a large amount of digital skills are yet to be imparted fully. And we need to really impart confidence that how are they going to participate in this digital world. Let me now turn on to what Airtel as an organization has been trying to do in this field to give you some perspective in this regard. So at Airtel, we really recognize that providing connectivity is just the beginning. The real challenge and opportunity actually lies in bringing women meaningfully into the digital economy. Across our businesses, products, services, we have launched several initiatives that aim to create not just access but empowerment. Let me highlight some of the key ones which we have done. Let me talk about our Airtel Payments Bank, for example, which takes diversity at the core of what it's trying to do. By partnering with state governments and social schemes, we have enabled hundreds and thousands of women to step into formal financial inclusion. The recent example being the scheme which we launched with Maharashtra government, which was the Maaji Ladki Behan Yojana, where Airtel Payment Bank has successfully opened more than 500 lakh saving accounts, out of which nearly 3,57,000 were through the direct benefit transfer accounts. So that's one large piece. In fact, Airtel Payment Bank is also a unique bank because we have got more than 100,000 business correspondents who are actually women, right? And these women are spread all across the country, trying to really enable enrollment of people into banking services, which is one of the priorities of the government alone. Through one other initiative, through our Bharti Foundation, we are investing in girls' education and technology skills. Our flagship Satya Bharti school program, for example, provides free quality education to underprivileged rural children, especially girls. We are also, embedding digital learning at every step. In partnership with companies like Sienna, we have launched digital classrooms and advanced tech labs, equipping government school children with computer skills, robotic kits, and coding lessons. We are also ensuring that girls from rural villages grow up to not be just users, but creators and innovators in the digital world. We also recognize that education must continue into higher learning. So we have introduced something called a Bharti Airtel scholarship program, where we are supporting meritorious students, especially young women, by fully funding their engineering education to India's top technical colleges. We even provide laptops and mentorship, removing barriers that often block women from tech pathways. Across these efforts, our goal has been very simple: turn connectivity into empowerment. Every new broadband tower we add means people accessing the digital world, trying to understand new services, and that's where really we want to get the people involved, especially women. They can be girl students who can log on and continue to educate. They can be farmer women who can actually find out prices of things which are around them. So we bring affordable data and smartphones to women. We ensure vernacular apps and voice tools are supported, and we work with NGOs to train women in e-health, agri-tech, and e-commerce platforms. By collaborating with the government and the society, Airtel aims to take digital services truly accessible to women everywhere. Because when we connect a woman, friends, we don't just connect an individual, we actually connect a family, a village, and a future. And as India builds its digital economy, no women should be left offline. Together with all of you, we are committed for a digital transformation that uplifts the society and the nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for sharing all that valuable information with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, as one of the special highlights of the day's celebrations, we are pleased to present the launch of Broadband India Forum's working paper titled White Paper on Responsible AI. BIF has consistently championed the cause of inclusive, technology neutral, and ubiquitous digital connectivity with firm commitment to bridging the digital divide through the use of diverse access technologies, be it fiber, wireless, or satellite. This publication gains particular relevance in the current landscape where artificial intelligence is rapidly becoming the cornerstone of digital transformation. The white paper explores how AI innovation can be nurtured in a responsible and ethical framework, ensuring that safety, fairness, and transparency remain central to technological advancements. As India embarks on its ambitious AI journey, and with this year's WTISD theme focused on inclusive digital transformation, This release reinforces a vital message that inclusion and responsibility must go hand in hand in the digital age. And before we release the white paper, I would like to invite Ms. Meera Swaminathan, Director Policy Advocacy and Communications at BIF, to present the key highlights of the paper on responsible AI innovation.
A very good evening to the esteemed dignitaries present on the stage and to all of you. My name is Meera. On behalf of the Broadband India Forum and BIF Special Task Force on AI, I'm very proud and grateful to present the highlights of the working paper on responsible AI innovation. So before we go ahead to explain the chapters and other things, I'll just explain how I'm going to go forward with this particular presentation. The next few slides, I'll explain our thinking and the context behind each of these chapters. I'll also, along the way, cite relevant literature which we have used throughout the paper, and towards the end, of course, mention the key highlights, leaving room for further research, given that this is a working white paper. So this white paper was, of course, prepared by a special task force on AI that consists of technology companies, MSMEs, independent experts. And we started working on this last year. And as we were working, we had METI's AI Governance Guidelines Development paper that came out in Jan. So we also included our comments and recommendations to that in this paper as well. The context behind the objective of so was that METI's India AI mission is one of the successful initiatives by the government. We saw that with the budget outlay of 10,300 crores in March 2024, with 2,000 crores in March 2025, and a few key achievements which I also wanted to mention. They had 2 rounds of bids for the compute capacity. The first one was 15,000, which was offered to, of course, many startups and other educational institutions. There are 7 pillars of the India AI mission, including compute, innovation center, data centers, future skills, startups, and safe and trusted AI. For AI Coach, which was an India datasets program that was launched last year as well, last month as well, and even for indigenous LLMs, METI has received over 200 proposals. So all this states that India AI mission is going on a successful journey. And against that backdrop, we wanted to do 2 things. One is to understand the current developments and also track both government and industry initiatives with regard to AI innovation, and 2, provide key takeaways on that. Very quickly, I'll go on the thinking behind the first 3 chapters. We wanted to understand the technology and also explain it in the simplest form. I understand that the vision of AI or even the adoption and maturity frameworks are present out there, but we wanted to provide it with the relevant literature which is present. For instance, for the vision of AI, we chose the government's first paper, which is the Niti Aayog's 2018 paper, AI for All, which had laid down the vision for AI for certain sectors like agriculture, healthcare, etc. From our end, we had added manufacturing, defense, DPIs, and ICTs. In ICT specifically, and we heard this throughout the day as well, the vision of AI and ICTs had both accessibilities, which includes one of the ITU papers, network optimization, security enhancement, and of course 6G transformation as well, improving both quality of service and quality of experience. For the second chapter, which is trends and maturity of AI, we have cited the NASSCOM AI Index on adoption and also the PwC report on it, where we had tracked 3 relevant sectors, which is financial, healthcare, and retail. On chapter 3, we wanted to explain the drivers of AI as simply as possible, and I know this information's out there, but we wanted to explain simple fundamental concepts in this paper, including compute, machine learning, data, cloud computing, supportive policy and investments, IoT, and of course, open source AI, which is a crucial catalyst for widespread adoption of AI and helps the developer community to democratize innovation. Chapter 4, we have decoded generative AI and foundational models. The literature we've used on this as well, we used the OECD's definition of what an AI model is. We used the Stanford Centers of Research on Foundational Models on what a foundational model constitutes. We used the EU AI Act to describe what a generative AI is, and of course provided various use cases of generative AI, which is image generation, video generation, etc., to again explain and decode this particular technology. Chapter 5 is one of the important chapters where we had put through the India's AI innovation landscape, where first we cited important statistics from international report. For instance, the Stanford centers, which are clearly stated that India has the second largest AI developer base and third largest startup ecosystem. NASSCOM report stated that India has 100 generative AI startups and has raised over 700 million in the last few years. And of course, we have the Center of Excellence initiatives by the government. In this chapter, we have also provided some examples of key industry initiatives. For instance, we mentioned that Bharti Airtel and Google Cloud's long-term strategic partnerships for cloud adoption and generative AI. We mentioned even the Meta and India AI's collaboration to promote open source AI, the center on Srijan, which was opened in IIT Jodhpur. And of course, the next chapter we go into is the principles of AI, which I must say had the most amount of literature. As we were tracking and listing it down, we realized that there are 22 frameworks at minimum as of Jan 2025 on just ethics and principles of AI. We have listed all of it down. Including the METI AI's report on the explanation of each of these principles. Having said that, we've mentioned safety on how an AI can perform or intended to perform and how does it handle unexpected errors. We've also mentioned robustness, where the recent TEC AI standards robustness paper has also been released, for which we had provided comments. We've provided information on transparency, on how AI systems should be meaningful, interpretable, and explainable, and this should be balanced against privacy, security, and commercially sensitive information. We've provided information on fairness and bias, where we've discriminated between fairness and bias. We're stating fairness is the absence of discrimination, while bias refers to systematic errors in decision making. We've cited the METI AI report, the Berkeley report on mitigating bias in AI, and lastly, on privacy and security. We understand that AI models do collect data. We understand that there are keywords like consent, transparency, purpose, limitation, etc. to be considered. But our take is that regulation relating to privacy, security, and AI needs a more nuanced outlook, given that training data sets collect publicly available data. Chapter 8 on approach to governance in AI, we had first listed down global approaches, which includes US, EU, as well as South Asia. Then, of course, we mentioned the most recent development, which is the METI AI report, which recommends the formation of the technical secretariat. After that, we provide for a framework on how India should approach harms-based AI. Right now, we state 7 principles. One is that AI is probabilistic in nature and non-deterministic. Any harm should be adjudicated in an ex-post manner. The liability related to AI should be looking into each of the stakeholders. Due diligence and standard of care should also be considered based on player size, mode, and control. And of course, there are existing laws already present in this country, whether it's IT Act, whether it's laws relating to data protection, which is the DPDPA, or copyright, which needs to be first considered before releasing a new law on AI, which I believe is also one of the key positions of the government. And moving into the recommendations, we know from recent statistics that India is #1 in skill penetration on AI. And in this, of course, we have cited METI initiatives regarding skill, which is Yuva AI or Future Skills Prime, but we're also going into industry collaborations on this. Our second recommendation is that there needs to be more public awareness and engagement. That should be a key priority, as we can see on AI for All initiative. If you have CBSE schools, etc., AI is an important subject that is being considered. We're also recommending to encourage collaboration and knowledge sharing practices, which is, of course, open source AI models, which is something which even the Honorable Minister of METI had recommended. We have also gone into uh, we've also gone into developing more population scale solutions, etc. So these, and finally, we've gone into providing for a clear and balanced regulatory framework on AI, where we're stating that specific harms arising for AI should be first addressed more than the AI itself. We should follow a more technology agnostic approach. Each actor in the value chain should implement reasonable safeguards, and of course, liability should be determined based on the player. And lastly, our final recommendation is that AI safety institutes cannot become regulators themselves. There needs to be proper standards and frameworks should be set in place. I understand that this is a working paper and we have a few questions answered and we have a few questions that we are looking to answer, but we look forward to collaborating with the Special Task Force on AI on future such work and research on this subject. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Meera, for elaborately explaining the working paper that is going to be released now. And I have the privilege in requesting Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Atul Kumar Chaudhary ji, Secretary TRI, to kindly do the honors, sir, of releasing the working paper on AI, the white paper on responsible AI by BIF, on this very momentous occasion of the WTISD 2025. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for doing the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, this is certainly one of the moments which has to be celebrated. So let's have a huge round of applause for that. Thank you. Thank you, sir, and all our dignitaries for doing this honor. Ladies and gentlemen, and we now have the honor of hearing from Dr. Pranita Upadhyay, the head of the ITU Area Office and Innovation Center, New Delhi, who is the dedicated voice for inclusive and sustainable digital development across South Asia. So let's put our hands together to welcome Dr. Pranita Upadhyay.
Good evening, respected chief guest, delegates sitting on the dais, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be here today to be a speaker on this occasion on the theme that is not only close to my heart, but also critical to shaping just resilient, inclusive digital society, gender equality in digital transformation. As we gather here today under a shared vision of harnessing technology for public good, let us reaffirm our commitment to the mission of International Telecommunication Union to guarantee that all the world's people can use and benefit from digital information, products, services equally and equitably. For those who are not aware, let me introduce our organization. ITU is the Specialized Agency for Information Communication Technology. As the oldest agency in the UN family, it aims to connect the world to advance digital technology, to develop international standards, to bridge the digital divide for sustainable development. As we made up of members of 194 countries, Palau being the recent one, and more than 1,000 companies, university, and other organizations that we work together to connect the remaining 2.6 billion people who are still unconnected. So ITU has, as we are aware, ITU has 3 bureaus: Development Bureau, Telecommunication Bureau, and Standardization Bureau. BDT's mission to bridge the digital divide, we are under BDT Bureau. To bridge the digital divide, this includes commitment to accelerate digital inclusion, ensuring connectivity is available, affordable, and accessible. Yet, despite our collective progress, digital gender divides remains a stark and urgent inequity. As of 2022, 2.6 billion people, as I mentioned earlier, across the globe remain offline. A disproportionate number of them are women, girls, particularly who are living in rural areas, least developed countries, and underserved communities. So these are just not the statistics. They represent real lives and lost opportunities. A young girl unable to attend virtual classes due to lack of a digital device. A woman who could not access vital telehealth services during the pandemic. A talented entrepreneur unable to bring her business online to reach the new market. We must work together for betterment. As COVID-19 pandemic served both digital accelerator and digital divider, while many of us rapidly adapted to online work, education, services, millions of young women were left behind, locked out not only just limited to infrastructure, but also by deeply rooted social and economic barriers. Many parts of the world, women continue to face restriction on the device ownership, lack of digital literacy, norms that discourage or prevent them from using technology. From them, a digital transformation has been empowering, has not been empowering, it is just been excluding. The lesson is clear. Digital inclusion is no longer optional. It's essential now for survival, for recovery, and for the meaningful progress. ITU's role in empowering women through technology, ITU in partnership with Global Alliance has been leading a change towards gender equality in digital spaces. Our key initiatives include flagship of Girls in ICT Day, reaching over 377,000 girls across 171 countries, encouraging them to pursue tech careers. Equal global partnership with over 100 partners working to expand women's digital access, skills, and leadership. Women in cybersecurity mentorship program, building next generation female tech leaders. We also run capacity building program through ITU Academy, e-learning portals, which include courses like AI, cybersecurity, spectral management, emergency telecommunication, and ICT accessibility. Policy advocacy for gender responsive digital framework, innovation hubs to support female tech entrepreneurs, and research initiatives to produce gender disappropriated ICT data guiding evidence-based policies. Now the next generation, the youth, the next frontier for digital inclusion. ITU is supporting that as well. ITU's young strategy is built on 3 pillars: empower, engage, and enable. Through Generation Connect, regional coding camps, youth board, global youth summit in Kigali, we are giving young people a seat at digital policy table. What we must do together now, achieving true gender equality in digital transformation, requires collective and coordinated action. Let me highlight 4 strategic priorities: invest in affordable and inclusive infrastructure, promote digital skills for women and girls, implement gender-responsive digital policies, support women as tech creators and leaders. In conclusion, we can say that from connectivity to empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, a digital future must be a shared future where no women, no girl, and no community is left behind. At ITU, we are committed to building a world where digital transformation does not reinforce old inequalities, but rewrites the rule for opportunity and inclusion. Let us commit as government, as industry leader, as civil society, as individuals, to close this gender divide. Together, let us build inclusive digital India and equitable digital world. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, ma'am, for your words of inspiration, and we do appreciate your commitment for bridging the gap between genders and communities. And ladies and gentlemen, we now present before you a special video message from Ms. Doreen Bogdan-Martin, who is Secretary General of the International Telecommunication Union, whose leadership has been pivotal in fostering the global cooperation in ICT.
Happy World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. This year's celebration is a special one because it marks 160 years since the founding of the International Telecommunication Union. Since 1865, ITU has been connecting the world across borders. With each new wave of technology, from the telegraph to radio, telephones to satellites, and from mobile internet to AI. ITU has been working every day to expand digital opportunities for all. But while we've come a long way, in 16 decades, we know 1/3 of humanity is still offline. Looking closely at that unconnected population, we find a significant access gap that risks leaving millions of women and girls behind. We also know that millions more lack the skills and resources to use technology in a meaningful way. That's why this year's theme, Gender Equality in Digital Transformation, is so important. We witness that significance every year on Girls in ICT Day, which has reached hundreds of thousands of young women across more than 175 countries by opening pathways to STEM education and leadership opportunities. We're building on that momentum through our renewed Equals Global Partnership that aims to equip 100 million women and girls with digital skills by 2035. ITU supports these global efforts because we believe everyone deserves to have the confidence, skills, and opportunities to thrive in an increasingly digital world. Because when technology's benefits reaches everyone, all of humanity wins. So today, I call on all ITU members and partners to mark our 160th anniversary by taking action and recommitting to a digital future where everyone, everywhere, can participate, benefit, and lead. Thank you.
Thank you. We would like to convey thanks to you, ma'am, for sharing that beautiful message with all of us. And ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed an honor today for all of us to have Shri Atul Kumar Chaudhary ji, Secretary Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, as our honorable chief guest. With his vast experience in policy governance, his role is instrumental in shaping India's regulatory framework for the emerging technologies. And I have the privilege in inviting you, sir, for the chief guest address. Let's put our hands together to welcome, sir.
Let me compliment Ms. Meera and BIF on release of white paper on responsible AI innovation and giving a brief on the content of the white paper. And also congratulations to ITU and all of us for completing 160 years of its formation. Respected Madam Aruna Sundarajan, Chairperson BIF and Ex-Secretary DOT, Mr. Rahul Vas, CRO Airtel, Dr. Parnita Upadhyay, Head I2 Area Office, and my friend from BIF and Bharat Exhibition on the dais, friend from industry and media, and all the government officers present here. Good evening to all of you. First of all, thank you BIF for having me here today. It is indeed an honor to be here among such distinguished leaders, technologists, and policymakers at this pivotal moment in our digital journey. Before I divulge on the topic, I would like to mention here that societal effect of digital transformation are complex because overall impact are often not very clear and may vary across countries. For example, digital technology provides opportunity to enhance access to information, improve healthcare, and enrich education. On the other hand, challenges arise related to work-life balance, the segregation of people into relatively isolated, like-minded group, negative mental health, and screen addiction, depression, and cyberbullying. But nevertheless, in my view, gender equality is a fundamental human right and necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. It is proven fact that empowering women and girls foster economic growth and development. Gender equality is the 5th goal among the 17 Sustainable Development Goals adopted by United Nations. Digital transformation provides new avenues for the empowerment of women and girls, while discrimination, negative stereotype, and social and cultural bias create other challenges for women and girls to thrive in the today's highly digital economy and society. Digital transformation affects society and culture in complex and interrelated way, as digital technology dramatically changes the way in which individual, firms, and government interact among and with one another. I'll put some statistics. Globally, 70% of the men use the internet compared to 65% of women, a gap that leaves 189 million more men online than women worldwide. While the digital gender gap has narrowed in many developed countries, it has widened in least developed countries, where only 29% of the women are using internet as compared to 41% of men. According to the industry report, in India, 85% and 75% of men and women own mobile phone respectively, while internet adoption among men and women is 53 and 37% respectively. Thus, estimated gender gap in ownership of phone and internet adoption is 12% and 30% respectively, which everyone will agree with me is a huge one and thus need to be brushed on priority. Industry research have found that closing the gender gap in mobile internet use in low and medium income countries could deliver an additional $700 billion in GDP growth over 5 years, while additional revenue of $230 billion to mobile industry by 2030. As per 75th round of National Sample Survey, 25% of the men can use the internet, while only 50% of the women are able to use the internet, highlighting the gap in terms of basic digital literacy in the country. At the same time, the rural-urban gap is also present in terms of digital literacy, with approximately 37% of the urban population being able to use internet, while the number in the rural area is only 13%. For digital transformation to work for growth and well-being, it is essential to support a positive and inclusive digital society. As I opined earlier, gender equality is not only a fundamental human right, it is also a keystone of a prosperous modern economy and society in which men and women contribute fully as per their potential. Today, as we embrace the rapid evolution of digital technology, we must ask ourselves, who is being included in this transformation and who is being left behind? You all will agree with me that true digital transformation can only happen when it is inclusive, when it serves as an equalizer, not as a divider. Sadly, gender disparity persists in access to digital tools, education, and leadership in the tech industry. Women and marginalized gender group often faces barriers to digital literacy, job opportunities, and technological innovation. If we do not prioritize gender equality in digital transformation, we risk reinforcing existing inequalities rather than dismantling them. A gender-balanced digital world means equal access to technology and digital education to all, equal opportunity for women and marginalized groups in the tech career, equal representation in leadership position within the digital economy. To achieve true gender equality in digital transformation, we need a comprehensive strategy to ensure that our economy gains from female participation, and we must therefore enhance digital literacy by implementing programs that provide women with necessary digital skills to thrive in the modern economy, ensure affordable access. That is, we must work towards making internet access affordable and widespread, especially in rural areas, promote safe online specification, meaning thereby establish a robust mechanism to protect women from online harassment and cyber threat, and encourage female participation in STEM, that means foster environment that encourages women to pursue career in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In India, initiatives like Digital India program have made significant stride, with more than 90% of the population possessing Aadhaar ID and 140 million using DigiLocker. The foundation for digital inclusion is strong. Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Saksharta Abhiyan under the vision of Digital India aims to bridge the digital divide. World Bank has also included Gender Strategy 2024-2030. This ambitious plan aims to enable 300 million more women to access broadband internet by 2030, unlocking essential services such as financial service, education, and job opportunity. I2, the Connect 2030 agenda, outline a special target to achieve gender equality in internet users and mobile ownership. So if I can sum up, bridging the digital gap in digital access is not just a matter of inclusion, it is a matter of justice. It is about building a society where every individual, regardless of gender or geography, can benefit from the promise of technology. Studies have shown that gender diverse teams create better solutions, stronger economies, and smarter technologies. When we invest in gender equality, we are not just advocating for fairness, we are also ensuring digital transformation that benefit everyone. Therefore, government, businesses, and individuals must work together to close the gender gap. We need policy changes, educational reform, and mentorship programs that support women and underrepresented communities in digital space. Technology must be designed to be accessible, unbiased, representative of all gender and identity. Full digital access and technology at the fingertip of women and girls open a wide window of opportunity so that they can aspire to be well-informed, develop more comprehensive worldview, and make the most of their potential for their own benefit and also for the society. It is a divide worth bridging. Further, for bridging digital divide, we may consider additional indices that can provide a more comprehensive assessment of digital inclusion and also measure gender divide as part of it. We have recently seen women power during press briefing of Operation Sindoor by Colonel Sophia Qureshi and Wing Commander Vamika Singh. Let us further empower women by bridging the digital divide. So let this day serve as a call to action to collaborate across sector, to innovate with inclusivity in mind, and to invest in the skill network and policies that will ensure no woman or girl is left behind in our digital journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that very inspiring chief guest address. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude this evening's formal session, I now invite Mr. Shashidharan, Managing Director of Bharat Exhibitions, to extend the vote of thanks.
Good evening to each and everyone who present here. We had a long day starting from the morning where Minister has said that India will be the Vishwaguru in 6G. It is with great honor that I stand before you today to express our gratitude on this special occasion on World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. I would like to thank our chief guest, Secretary TRAI, Shri Atul Kumar Chaudhary. Sir, thank you very much for taking out time and joining with us today in this evening. I also would like to thank Dr. Pramita Upadhyay, Head ITU. Madam, thank you so much taking out time and joining with us. And my good friend Rahul Watts from Airtel. Thank you, Rahul, for joining us. And thank you to Madam Aruna Sundarajan, the Chairman BIF, and Shiv Thukral, Vice President BIF, and our DG, Brigadier Tandon, and each one of you who present here to witness the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. I'll not take much of a time, that we had a long day and we need to continue for another 1.5 hours more, 2 hours more. We'll join and we'll have a get-together session, informal discussion. So I would like to thank once again to each one of you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much indeed. I would now request Mr. Shashidharan to do the honors of presenting a token of gratitude to our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Atul Kumar Chaudhary ji. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for sparing your valuable time and gracing this momentous occasion. Thank you, Mr. Shashidharan, for doing the honors. I request Mr. Shivnath Thukral, Vice President BIF, to present a token of gratitude to Dr. Pranita Upadhyay, Head ITU Area Office and Innovation Center, New Delhi. Thank you very much indeed, ma'am, for being here with us today and for that inspiring address we had from you. I request you, sir, to also present to Shri Rahul Watts, Chief Regulatory Officer, Bharti Airtel. Thank you. And as we close the proceedings of this celebration, I request all our dignitaries to kindly come together in the front for a group photograph, please. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, thanking each one of you for being here with us, especially for all those who have been with us since the morning and have stayed the whole day. Thank you for your participation in making this event a huge success that it was. A gentle reminder to all our participants, we request you to kindly drop your lanyard outside at the registration counter so that it can be recycled before you leave the venue. And now, invite all of you to kindly join us for dinner and the celebrations to continue. Have a wonderful evening ahead. Safe drive home. Good evening and namaskar. Ladies and gentlemen, the dinner is served on the right-hand side hall at the exhibition area. Please join us for dinner and let's continue the celebrations over dinner. Thank you once again. Good night. Namaskar.